What's up, JRod here? Is everybody in? Are we ready to begin? I hope you have fun planned for this summer. I'm going to speak to a lot of people that have kids and are thinking about having kids or being a parent. And I gotta say, I know there's a lot of cliches about how hard parenting is, and it really is what you make of it. But what's interesting is no one holds their baby and says, I want you to be the dumbest possible human on the planet. No one says that. No one says, I want you to be lazy and I want you to do nothing with your life. No one says that. And all you're trying to do as a parent is raise a healthy child who has integrity and can communicate and is as smart as they possibly could be. And a lot of that's driven by you as a parent, and a lot of it's driven by other things, whether it's the school system, whether it's a socioeconomic system, support system, all kinds of things. But I've noticed, just being a parent to 4 kids and being a teacher to thousands of teenagers, that a lot of teenagers are going to be what they're going to be, and you can do a lot to help them, but really it starts even earlier, I think. I find that the work ethic, kids that have work ethic, they've been doing it since first grade, since kindergarten. They tell me about their projects and things that they've overcome when they were young. And that doesn't matter about socioeconomic status. They could be poor kids, they could be rich kids, but an accomplishment to, let's say, do a puzzle or to overcome something physical, or to create something, build something, a model, a mock-up, something like that. Doesn't matter how much money you have. You can be the poorest person out there. You can be the richest person out there. And still that accomplishment is important. So work ethic begins young. And you know what? So does integrity, honesty. And it's interesting what I've noticed. If you put little kids, like in a sandbox, and maybe say put 2 or 3 of them, and you put one toy in there, what's interesting is that kids are incredibly fair, and they will play with anyone, any kids that they deem, that they're in the sandbox with. They'll play with them, have fun, have a great time, have their best day. And sometimes they need to be taught some things, but a lot of times they mimic what they see at home. So you got to be real careful what they see at home. If your relationship with your significant other isn't so concrete, or is, abusive, or worse, that child is picking up on everything. They are little voice recorders and vision recorders. They're recording everything. Beep, beep, beep. They're recording everything they hear and see and think. They're recording it. As a matter of fact, I bet your perception of you growing up had to do with what you recorded in your brain. Whether it's true or not. It probably is. Kids kind of are the bastion of truth. They might learn to lie a little bit, but they're not born inherent liars generally, in my experience. Some are, but most aren't. As I said earlier, most are in a position to be fair And what's interesting too is that the kids know when something's not fair. And you know what? They feel it. They feel it. Like it hurts them. They want things to be fair. So at some point, they learn or they're taught, how to be abusive and how to be mean to others and to not have a whole lot of empathy. And I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm just talking about my experience. And my experience is what it is. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their own experience. Being a parent is the single hardest thing you're ever going to do. And guiding them all the while trying to create your career and your relationships and your friendships and trying to keep your finances square and straight, paying the mortgage, paying the rent. Man, it is hard. Then when they get older, it gets harder. You might be like, oh, it's a piece of cake. They're driving now. Well, that part of your job, the going to practices and the picking them up and then who's going to pick them up? Oh my goodness. Then they're at this house and then that house. Oh no, they switched into midstream and now they're at another house. You got to go pick them up. Oh, where are you going to get them? You got to go, Oh my goodness. It gets a little easier on that notion. But now you start to get the expenses and the, oh my goodness, are they out driving around and it's raining and it's windy and people are driving crazy and whatever. And it's dark. And so you're worried about them, and you're really not sleeping until you hear the door close when you know they're safe. You know they're safe, then you're cool. Until the next night when they're out again. And hopefully they have a job. And I gotta tell you, you should, I think, encourage your kids to get jobs, even if it's just a mowing the lawn thing. I mean, everybody say, oh, well, when I was in school, I mean, I did work, but, the kids work too. It's just one of those things where you're doing something for someone else, and maybe there's a little bit of money attached to it too. But this idea that there are other humans out there and we need to do good for them is kind of one of those things that it's learned. It's inherent when kids are little, but then it kind of goes a little sideways, maybe when the kids are 8, 9, 10, 11, and then they're starting to grow physically and physiologically and, all that stuff, and mentally and emotionally, all the crazy stuff that happens when you're 12, 13, 14, 15. But the thing that changes really is now you're dealing with someone that's physically big and strong or, mature. But emotionally and mentally, they're not quite adults yet, although they think they're adults. And we want to give them independence. They want independence. They crave independence, but they also crave boundaries and rules. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard a parent say something to the effect of, don't make me pull the car over. Don't make me do X. Don't make me take your phone away. Don't make me do X, Y, Z, whatever it is. And that's fine if you're going to follow through. But when a kid knows that it's an empty threat, when you know it's an empty threat, dude, you're not going to follow through. I mean, think about that. So, parenting is incredibly hard. And then Then you got to get them through high school, and then what's next? And here's the challenge there is that oftentimes I think we as adults kind of impose our life and lifestyle on them. So we go, well, when I was 18, I had 3 jobs. Okay, it's not you anymore, it's them. I run into this where I'm like, well, wait a minute. When I was their age, whatever. Okay. My buddy, I said that to one buddy. He goes, are you him? And I go, no. And he goes, okay, then it doesn't matter. It's not what you're capable of. It's what they're capable of and willing to do. So it's super hard. Then you get a significant other that has tremendous impact on what your child, now young adult or teen, thinks. Oh my goodness. And if you don't like them, guess what? You push your child into their arms even more. Now, I'm not saying you have to like everybody, you know. And if a kid is abusive to your daughter or son, you need to step in there. Now, that doesn't mean your daughter or son are always right. Because what if they're the abusive ones? What if they're the ones that are mean? I'm not talking necessarily about hurting someone physically. I'm talking about just not being fair, you know, not being right, not treating someone right. What I find happens is that when kids get older, they see opportunities. Now they're in the mid to late teens. They see opportunities that help them, that benefit them. Some of them kind of revert back to selfishness until their mid-20s. And then they realize, oh crap, mom and dad really knew what the heck they were talking about. Or, oh crap, so-and-so knew what they were talking about. And man, I really feel bad about mistreating them. Has that ever happened to you? Has your kid ever said, hey, it was like 26, 27, hey, mom, dad, I really feel bad about mistreating you when they were 16. And I gotta tell you, when you were in your 16, 18, 20, 21, you knew everything too. Because your breadth of experience is limited. But your knowledge about a lot of things is vast. So you've got those two things don't exactly align. And then you've got the frontal lobe situation, as you know, that doesn't fully develop till they're 22 to 24, maybe older. I don't know. So kudos to all you parents out there that are working your butts off, and I know you have the best intentions and your best heart for your kids. And sometimes they choose the path that you want them to choose, and sometimes they don't. At some point we gotta, release them to the world. But that's another thing. I'm just gonna leave you with this. Sometimes you gotta cut the cord too. You know what I mean? They need to be on their own. At 24, 25, 26, they need to be on their own. And I'm not saying don't help them, but also, be careful, don't enable them. Be careful that it's not about you. I want control over my kid, therefore I'm going to keep him in my house. Be careful about that, because it can easily happen. And next thing you know, a year or two have gone by, and that's valuable time in your early 20s. So guide them, help them when they need it. I mean, when they need it, not when they want it, but be careful about enabling them. Kudos to all you parents. Father's Day is around the corner. Mother's Day was a month ago. You know, mothers and fathers are not celebrated enough. It's not one day, it's 365. And JRod loves all you parents. You're working so hard. Some of you are working so hard you barely see your kids. My heart goes out to you. I mean, it really does. And I know you want what's best for your kids. We all do. Humanity does. Civilization does. And JRod's rooting for all of you to be the best you can be. Don't ever forget that. Anyway, JRod loves you. Thank you for listening for this podcast. It's new. It's a new medium for me. We're going to see how it goes. But I appreciate your interest. And smash the like button and subscribe. I hear that with all these podcasts, so I better say it. Smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. I plan to have fun with this medium, and I hope you do too. I'm not going to be all, stiff and, that's not how I am. And those of you that know it, know that's not how I am anyway. But I am going to be positive. I'm going to try to stay away from politics. I'm going to probably mix in a little sports action once in a while, but I just want to have fun with it, and I hope you follow me and listen to my podcasts and wherever you find podcasts. And some of them, I'm not sure if they're going to be all video, and some are going to be audio only. We'll see. I plan on having guests, and by the way, I'll go on your podcast. Just send me a DM or an email, and I'll go on your podcast, and we'll have a great time with it. Trust me. Anyway, thank you for joining me with this adventure, the adventure of parenthood. I didn't get this gray hair for nothing, baby. I've earned it. JRod loves you, and JRod loves all parents out there. I'll see you soon.